sir. Today Devas Sangaru ଆଉ କିଛି ଫର୍ମ ଆଣିକି ଦେଇ ଦେଇ ଆସୁଛି 101 sir class ରେ.
तो आज रे करंट डेवलपमेंट शीट दरकार होता
करेंट अफेयर्स सर हम देई दूँ.
डेली डेवलपमेंट शीट. Good morning. So let's start the daily discussion. First is regarding the space. ISRO proposes space tourism. So space tourism is the new domain that is growing around the world. So because since the first space tourist venture to space, okay, so by USA, okay, Dennis Tito, who is the first space tourist. It is Dennis Tito, okay. The first space tourist. So he make the payment to visit space. So since the day of Dennis Tito and the first male space tourist and the first female space tourist Anukya Ansari, since they started the space sojourn by making the payment, so space tourism has emerged as a new domain for generating revenue for the space agency around the world, and ISRO don't want to lag behind in this area. So ISRO space tourism module to be functional by 2030. The module of space tourism, which will carry the tourists to the space, because those persons who are sent by the government of the country or through collaboration are called as astronauts or cosmonauts by their name. But those who visit by making payment, they are called as space tourists. Fine. Okay, so Indian Space Organization is developing a space tourism module which will allow enthusiasts to take a trip to space. The estimated cost of trip is slated to be 6 crore. So any person who is physically and mentally fit and is in a position to make a payment of 6 crore can visit space on making payment. And enthusiasts will be able to take a trip to space by 2030. By 2030, this space module will be ready, by which a person by making a payment of 6 crore can visit the space. At present, it has not been announced whether the module will be include suborbital space travel or orbital space travel. Will go to the orbit or suborbit has not been declared, but somehow by 2030 ISRO want to develop the module to take a tourist to the space. Space tourism is a relatively new concept that involves traveling to space for recreational purpose while ensuring that it is both safe and reusable. That means two things must be ensured. One is safety. The tourist will go to space are layman. Okay, so they will go. The journey must be safe, and the spacecraft that will carry the tourist must be reusable. So they make it cheaper. Otherwise, so if it is not reusable, so then it will be too costly, which may not be other people may not be in a position to afford it. Fine. So okay, next. So major highlight of the proposal. price. The per ticket price is estimated to be around 6 crore, and people to take the trip will also be able to call themselves astronauts. Type of space travel, the module is likely to feature suborbital phase travel, which generally involves spending 15 minutes at the edge of space, experiencing a few minutes in the low gravity environment before the space flight descent back to Earth. Partnership with private firms, ISRO is likely to partner with private firms for the deployment of a space travel module via the Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center. Okay, and space completely created. Space measures, ISRO will also be using the reusable launch vehicle technology demonstrator RLBTD to gain more knowledge about the safety of the space flight. A space experience are being brought to the common people, because earlier to the technical persons of the space, specially trained persons were taken to space, but right now common people will be sent to space. So this is the space travel will be taken to the common domain, so that needs extra precaution by ISRO. Okay, so then cost. Okay, so next we'll go. Okay, so then comes cost. Space tourism currently is okay. Cost space tourism is currently very expensive, and only a small number of people can afford it, which is a major obstacle for the most people, because paying a hefty amount to go to space is not everyone's cup of tea. Safety, space tourism involves a high degree of risk, and safety will be a major concern for both tourists, beside operators and the spacecraft. And launch vehicle must be reliable, and emergency procedure must be in space in case of any contingency. In case of any contingency, so emergency provisions should be there, by which okay, so that is what it to be done. Okay, then medical issues. Space tourism can pose significant medical challenge to tourists, such as changes in gravity, radiation exposure, other physical and psychological effects that should be taken care of. Regulations, there is currently no international regulatory framework for space tourism, and government will need to work together to establish standards and regulations to ensure the safety and sustainability of the industry. Environmental impact, space tourism can have a significant environmental impact, including increased emission, waste, and damage to the atmosphere and the ozone layer. So all these things have to be taken into consideration when the space domain is being open for tourism. Fine. Importance of space tourism, economic benefits. Space tourism can contribute to the growth of space industry and generate revenue for the space company, besides creating job. Till just 1 or 2 years back, so Indian space was completely government domain, and only ISRO was the only government controlled, government regulated, government owned space company, space is in the country. But right now, government has allowed private companies to enter into space domain. And recently, so there is success when the private company created in the country, they are able to launch their own rocket. Fine. And they are able to launch their rocket, although using ISRO launch pad, but they are successfully able to develop and launch the rocket. Fine. So this will the opening the space to tourism will open new avenues. Okay, that means space industry generate revenue for the space company, besides creating job. Simultaneous invention and investment in related industries such as the hospitality and the entertainment. Promoting space exploration, it can increase public interest in the space exploration and encourage more people to learn about the universe, astronomy and space technology, leading to more funding for space research and development. Advance in technology, the development in space tourism requires the advancement of space technology and infrastructure such as spacecraft, launch vehicles, and space habitats, which can have a positive spillover effect on other sectors such as transportation, energy, and communication. Then environmental benefit, space tourism can potentially help reduce the environmental impact of tourism on Earth by providing an alternative destination for travelers, which would help reduce the strain on natural resources and ecosystem. If more and more people will go for space tourism, so that domain will open and the tourism on Earth will be reduced to some extent, but within a distant dream. Then other country with space tourism models, United States is the leader in space tourism with several private companies such as SpaceX, Blue Origin, and Virgin Galactic, which have already completed several test flights and plans to launch commercial flight in the near future. Russia, it has also involved in the space tourism since 2001. It has sent several playing tourists to the International Space Station on its Soviet aircraft, and even Russia was the country which has made a movie in space. So the entire movie's film shooting crew, they moved to space to create to make a movie in the space. China, it is a relatively new player in the space tourism industry, but has ambitious plan to build its own space station and potentially offer space tourism in the future, because apart from the International Space Station, Russia is the only other country which has individually developed a space station of its own. Then the United Arab Emirates, the UAE recently sent its first astronaut to its space station and has expressed interest in developing space tourism as part of its effort to diversify its economy. Excuse me. Japan, it has sent several astronauts to the International Space Station and is involved in the development of space tourism through private companies such as the PD Aerospace. Fine. So, USA, Russia, China, Japan, UAE, and right now India. All these are joining in the space race to make the space a space for tourism, and because it has a future prospect. Okay, ISRO space tourism module, which is both safe and reusable, is a significant step towards advancing India's space exploration program and providing the public with an opportunity to experience space travel. As technology continues to advance, space tourism could become more accessible and affordable in future, and thus allowing more people to experience the wonder and excitement of space exploration. Okay, then mission Gaganayan is India's first human space flight mission aimed at sending 3 astronauts into space by 2022 and means first man mission to space. The mission is being developed by the Indian Space Research Organization and aims to demonstrate India's capability to send human into space and return them safely. The spacecraft will consist of an orbital module and a crew module, which will be launched by the Geosynchronous Satellite Launch Vehicle 3 GSLV Mark 3 rocket from Indian soil. Okay, because although Indian that earlier, okay, from the Indian first astronaut, okay, Rakesh Sharma to Indian born Sunita William, that and others who have traveled to space, okay, and but so India plans to launch its own space vehicle from Indian soil. Okay, using Indian own geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle (GSLV) rocket. Fine. The spacecraft will orbit the Earth at an altitude of 400 km for a period of 5 to 7 days. The crew will be trained in Russian Yuri Gagarin Astronaut Training Center in Moscow. The crew module will have an emergency escape system to ensure the safety of the astronauts in case of any failure during launch or ascent. Okay, the mission will have a significant scientific, technological, and socio-economic benefit for India, including the development of new technology and capabilities, inspiration for future generations, and international collaboration. Fine. So then come the next topic is PM Mitra scheme. The center has selected site in Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Karnataka, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, and Uttar Pradesh to set up new textile parks as a year and a half after the PM Mega Integrated Textile Region and Apparel PM Mitra scheme was announced. So PM Mitra stands for Pradhan Mantri Mega Integrated Textile Regions and Apparel Scheme. PM Mitra MITRA Mega Integrated Textile Region and Apparel. About states are identified through the challenge route, and the PM Mitra Park will provide the best ecosystem for the textile industry to be collectively present in one location with plug and play infrastructure and improve the competitiveness of the textile value chain. The vision for 2030 is to achieve an economic value of 250 billion in production and 100 billion in export of textiles, apparel, and related products. And this is achievable even though the industry faces small setback in the current year. Fine. All in one pack, the PM Mega Integrated Textile Region and Apparel Scheme has announced in October 2021. The park will come up by 26-27. The total outlay for the project is 4,445 crore. Through the initial allocation in the 23-24 budget is only 200 crore. The state have to offer a provide at least 100 acres, say the Minister Piyush Goyal. Spinning, weaving, processing, dyeing, printing, and garment manufacturing will be done at one location. Effort is to reduce logistic cost of textile and industry and make it globally competitive. If the logistic cost of transport and travel for the inputs and outputs are reduced, it will be more competitive, fine, and can compete in the world. The PM Mitra scheme is inspired by the 5F vision: farm to fiber to factory to fashion to foreign. Means farm to fiber, from the cotton to fiber, then to factory, then to fashion, and then to the foreign destinations as the products from India. It aspires to fulfill the vision of building an Atmanirbhar Bharat and to position India strongly on the global textile map. PM Mitra Park offer an opportunity to create an integrated textile value chain right from spinning, weaving, processing, dyeing, and printing to garment manufacturing at one location. These parks are envisaged to be located at sites which have inherent strength for the textile industry to flourish and have the necessary linkage to succeed. The scheme envisages to leverage the public-private partnership model for fast-paced implementation in a time-bound manner. Integrated textile value chain at one location will reduce logistic cost of industry. Intended to generate 1 lakh direct and 2 lakh indirect employment per park. Site for PM Mitra Park will be selected by the challenge method based on the objective criteria. Okay, so this is what is the thing about, that developing textile, because Indian has a very good reputation in the textile domain since the ancient period, because Indian textile products, although handloom it was then, are very popular in many East Asian countries. Okay, because the traders carry the products to Java, Sumatra, and Bali. Okay, so through that maritime trading activity, and although since independence, so during the British rule, the industry that handicrafts are totally and handloom sector totally destroyed by the Britishers to give away for the Manchester industry. But in the post-independent India, we have developed that textile as a major domain of employment, and because like food, clothing is a major requirement, we have done a lot, but lot more need to be done, and Indian export potentiality need to be explored in this domain. Okay. The third topic is about the Indian Institute of Astrophysics research develop low-cost star sensor. Researchers at the Indian Institute of Astrophysics have developed a low-cost star sensor for astronomy and small CubeSat class satellite mission. The star sensor named Starberry Sense can help small CubeSat class satellite missions find their orientation in space. According to the Department of Science and Technology, the Starberry Sense is ready for launch on the PS4 orbital platform by ISRO, and can be used for CubeSat and other small satellite mission in future. Based on commercial off-the-shelf components, this star sensor cost less than 10% of those available in the market. The brain of the instrument is a single broad Linux computer called Raspberry Pi, which is widely used among electronics hobby enthusiasts. Scientists have coupled some highly optimized algorithms with a Raspberry Pi and turn it into potent star sensor named Starberry Sense, and they could demonstrate that instrument built from easily available component can be qualified for space. Fine. This is what. So this is the things explored view of the Starberry star sensors developed by researcher of the Indian Institute of Astrophysics. Okay, lens will be there, baffle will be there, a Raspberry Pi Zero module will be here, voltage regulator board will be here. So this will be fixed into one. Fine. Star sensor, any satellite need to know where it is pointed in space, and the instrument used for this is called a star center. The position of the star in the sky is fixed relative to each other and can be used as a stable reference frame to calculate the orientation of a satellite in orbit. This is done by correctly identifying the star in the sky towards which the star sensor is pointed. The star sensor is essentially a celestial compass. Fine. Then horseshoe craft, so very famous, and Odisha is very famous for this horseshoe craft. Horseshoe craft, one of the oldest living creature on earth and medically priceless, appear to be disappearing from their family spawning ground along Chandipur and Balaramgadi coast in Odisha, Baleshwar district. Scientists have urged Odisha government to come up with a robust protection mechanism before the living fossil become extinct due to destructive fishing practices. Dr. Anil Chatterjee first discovered horseshoe crab along the Baleshwar coast and brought that species to the Star States notice in 1987. It is a marine chelicrate arthropod living in shallow coastal waters on soft sandy and muddy bottom, and spawn, release or deposit eggs mostly on internal intertidal beach at summer spring high tides. Okay, and so this is the okay. That this is a division within the phylum Arthropoda, containing animals such as spiders, scorpions, herdsman, mite, and tick. Like all arthropods, they have a segmented body and segmented limbs and a thick chitinous cuttle called the exoskeleton. Other than the marine horseshoe crab, the Chelic ceratae are found primarily in the terrestrial environment worldwide. This is regarded as a marine living fossil. There are four extant horseshoe crab species. The American horseshoe crab, okay, along the eastern coast of the USA and its Gulf of Mexico. The tri-spine horseshoe crab, the coastal horseshoe crab, the mangrove horseshoe crab. So they are nature's creation and very rare right now. The last three are Indo-Pacific, Pacific species found in the coastal water of India, Southeast Asia, China, and Japan. Odisha is the largest habitat in India. Importance: they have existed since the time of the dinosaur and are important ecosystem engineer and predator of small organisms. Their ecological, so see they are from the age of the dinosaur. Their ecological function is to lay millions of eggs on beach to feed shore birds, fish, and other wildlife. Their large hard shell serves as a mini microhabitat for many other species such as the sponges, mud crabs, and mussels and snails. They are a critical link to the world health, biodiversity, and hold cultural importance across the globe. Okay, what are the importance? Okay, medical value. The blood of this crab is very important for the preparation of rapid diagnostic reagent. All injectable medicines are tested on them. A molecule has been developed from a reagent of horseshoe crab to help treat pre-eclampsia. Scientists are surprised to find strong immune system in animals that help in survive millions of years. They are the only animals that have survived from the dinosaur age. Threat: over harvesting for use as food, bite and biomedical testing, habitat destruction, habitat loss from the coastal reclamation and development, shoreline alteration that are engineered to protect beaches from erosion and sea level rise due to climate change also affect their spawning habitats. Poachers will kill them for their meat, which is popularly believed to have aphrodisiac qualities. Fine, that is why they have been killed indiscriminately. Okay, so trade in horseshoe scrap is rampant in many Indian states as it is believed that consumption of horseshoe scrap meat can lengthen a person's lifespan, even though there is no scientific evidence to support this. Its carapace, hard upper shell, is crushed and mixed with water to prepare paste, which is applied onto scars. Okay. Then conservation, it is in the Schedule 4 of the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, under which the catching and killing of horseshoe crab is an offense. IUCN status: American horseshoe crab is vulnerable. Tri-spine horseshoe crab is endangered. The two other species are not listed yet. Okay. The crackdown on horseshoe crab poachers requires superior interstate coordination among police and wildlife authority of Odisha, Bihar, Jharkhand, and other states. The Zoological Survey of India has suggested declaring the habitat of horseshoe crab as eco-sensitive zone for their conservation and proper management. Fine. So then comes the next topic is about the integrated mobile clam forest system to reduce thermal and radar signature. Okay, the Indian Army has placed its first order for the Integrated Mobile Camcorder System (INCS) for mechanized forces with an Indian startup Hyper Stealth Technology Private Limited. This is the first ever procurement order for innovation for defense excellence project to the Indian Army. The order is for an indigenously developed integrated mobile camcorder system for mechanized forces. The INCS comprises low emission and or AMIIR coating and mobile clumper system materials that enable armed fighting vehicles to blend it with their terrain background, significantly enhancing capability in stealth for the FV. Okay, so FV stands for Armored Fighting Vehicles. Okay, this nice niche technology is expected to considerably boost indigenous stealth technology, facilitating Atmanirbhar in line with the Government of India's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat. Okay. The awarding of this procurement order to Hyper Steel Technology Private Limited is a testament to the Indian Army's commitment to promote innovation and technological development in defense and aerospace, and it is a significant achievement for the startup community. It is a positive step towards achieving the government's vision of Atmanirbhar and promoting indigenous steel technology. Okay, about this IDEX, But this is okay. So managed by the Defense Innovation Organization under the Ministry of Defense. So IDEX has emerged as a front runner in establishing the right contact with the startup and innovator and has gained substantial traction in the defense startup community. Currently, there are a total of 48 projects in the Indian Army are part of the Defense India Startup Challenge, Open Challenge, IDX 4, Fauji and IDX Prime scheme, involving handholding of 31 startups for development of the latest state-of-the-art solution for the challenges posed by the Indian Army. Fine. Then coming to the question of the day, what are the constitutional provisions with respect to the parliamentary privilege? Do you think that absence of a law to codify parliamentary privilege has led to their misuse? So parliamentary privilege given to the parliament and the members. Okay, there is a privilege of the house and the privilege of the members. Parliament is an institution and its members in an individual capacity enjoy certain rights and immunities which enable them to perform their parliamentary duty efficiently and effectively without any hindrance. These immunities are called parliamentary privilege. Article 105 and 194 of the Constitution deals with privilege of the and these immunities. Article 105 mainly has four clauses and provides for the following: freedom of speech in Parliament. Okay, is subject to the provision of the Constitution. Sir, this is minister sir. Forest Okay, so this is what Article 105 has four clauses that provide for the following: freedom of speech in Parliament subject to the provision of the Constitution and the rule regulating the procedure of the House. Member is exempt from legal action for anything said or vote given in Parliament or one of its committee. The member is also not liable for any publication of a report, paper, vote, or proceeding of the House. Okay, so power, privilege, and immunity of each House of the Parliament and that of its members and committee are required to be defined by Parliament by law. Until so defined, it shall be those of that House and its member and committee immediately therefore the coming into force of section 159 of the Constitution Act 1978. The fourth clause states that provisions that apply to MP also extend to non-members, those who have the right to speak and take part in the proceedings of the Parliament by virtue of the Constitution, like the Vice President, the Attorney General, etc. Similarly, Article 194 outlines corresponding power, privilege, and immunity of the state legislature and the members there and the committee. So 105 for the Parliament and 195 for the State Assembly or the state legislatures. Other than the Constitution, parliamentary privilege also emanates from various laws made by the Parliament, rules of the both the houses, parliamentary conventions, and judicial interpretation over the period of time since the constitution came into force. Absence of law to codify privilege has led to their misuse. Absolute power of parliament. The parliament enjoy mostly all the supreme powers while making law and exercise its power to the best possible extent because of the absolute nature of its power and privileges. Against the principle of constitutionalism, the power of the legislator are too wide, such as the decide with decide their own privilege, include point which can breach the laid down privilege, and also decide the punishment for that breach. This clearly impinges on constitutionalism, the idea of limited government. Then case of misuse in 2003, a speaker of the Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly ordered to arrest the editor of the Hindu as they published in their article the expression incensed, fumed, and high-pitched tone for the conduct of the member in the session of the assembly, stating that it was considered being a breach of their privilege. That means so they can take an action against the media house in case they feel that their privilege is breached. In 2019, the Speaker of Maharashtra Legislative Assembly ordered the action of arrest against a man for creating a parody video of the speech made by one of the member of the assembly. Need for codifying the parliamentary privilege, borrowing the privilege of the British MP was a temporary measure. While framing the constitution, it was included elucidated that the parliamentary privilege would remain similar to those of the British House of Commons, but can also be changed and introduced if the legislator wants so. But the legislator have maintained a status quo on this issue. For strengthening fundamental rights of citizens, constructive criticism and dissent are the essential of democracy, thus restraining the citizen from exercising their fundamental rights of freedom of speech and expression could be amounting to infringement of their fundamental rights. Increase accountability. If parliamentary privileges are codified, the accountability and the administration of the members would be increased, thereby benefiting the democracy. Then the National Commission to review the Constitution recommended that the time has come of defining the delimit privileges deemed to be necessary for the free and independent functioning of the Parliament. That means the Parliamentary Committee to review the Constitution has also recommended to do some review in the privileges. Although the privilege held in effective working of the Parliament, there have been many cases of its misuse by the member. Hence, there must be balance between the fundamental right of the citizen and between the parliamentary privileges. It is said that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. For this to not happen, the parliamentary privilege should be codified. This will help strengthen Indian democracy and will also boost public confidence in the parliament. Fine, that is the need. Okay, so this is what is the issue of privileges. Then coming to the MCQ of the day. So that's the following about the PM Mitra scheme. The scheme is develop integrated large scale industrial infrastructure facility for entire value addition in the textile industry. These parks will be set up at greenfield, brownfield site located in different states. These parks will be developed by a special purpose vehicle which will be owned by the central and state government and in a public private partnership mode. Okay, this in this case all the three are correct because this schemes to develop integrated large scale industrial infrastructure in the textile industry. Park will be both greenfield means new projects and that renovation of the existing projects, and this park will be developed by the special purpose vehicle. The state and the central government will develop a PP model can be also taken for this. The reference to horseshoe crab, for which Odisha is very famous. Okay, the Chandipur beach and the Balaram Gadi. Okay, crab consider the following. It is regarded as a prime living fossil, become marine living fossil because this is continuing from the day of the dinosaurs. Like olive ridley sea turtles, these crabs are basically deep sea animals. Okay, okay, and the blood of this crab is very important for the preparation of rapid diagnostic reagents. Okay, all the three are correct. Okay, that's why they are being killed. And those choose the correct statement reference to recently developed low-cost star sensor for astronomy and small CubeSat class satellite mission. Star sensors are sensors used by satellite to orient themselves. Okay, that means it is correct. Then the orientation done by correctly identifying the stars in the sky towards which the star sensor is pointed. That is also correct. The sensor named Starberry Star Sensor will launch on PS4 orbital platform by ISRO and can be used for CubeSat and other small satellite mission in the future. All the three are correct. One, two, three. D is the right answer. With reference to integrated mobile camouflage system, consider the following. The INCS camouflage property defeats hostile sensors and target acquisition system in all phases of the mission. The multi-spectral signature management properties of the INCS lowers a vehicle internal temperature, extending the endurance of the personnel and electronic equipment. So here that both neither one or not two are incorrect for the question, because both are correct. The question answers that which of these are incorrect, but both being correct, so neither one nor two is incorrect because both are correct. Okay. Which of the following state recently introduced the first of its kind cow cess? Okay. So cow cess was introduced by Himachal Pradesh. Okay. Recently, central government has been referred to the Law Commission for future examination of issue of holding simultaneous election to the Lok Sabha and State Assembly. With reference to this news, which of the following article of the Constitution of India could require amendment to hold simultaneous election in India? Article 83. Okay. Article 85, Article 172, Article 174, Article 365. So here the right answer is Article 1, 2, 3, 4, all the five are correct. Okay. So all these Article 183, Article 85, Article 172, Article 174, Article 365. All the five are correct. Then Namdappa National Park. Namdappa is in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay. Then Unnati program is for youth belonging to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe communities. So answer is B. The International Criminal Court recently announced it has issued an arrest warrant against Russian President Vladimir Putin for the unlawful deportation of Ukrainian children. With reference to the International Criminal Court, consider the following statement. It is a permanent judicial body based at the Hague in Netherlands. So this is correct. Okay. Okay. Then, unlike the International Court of Justice, the ICC is not part of the United Nations system. That is also correct. India signed the state part of the ICC authority. India is not a signatory. So 1 and 2 are only correct. 3 is incorrect because India is not a signatory to this. Then the SOMIA is a bilateral security agreement recently signed in news between which of the country. So it is between North Korea, South Korea, and Japan. Okay. So this is what the treaty between that South Korea and Japan. Okay, this way today's discussion is over. So keep on watching every day about the news, the answer, long answer writing, and the MCQ on a very regular basis. So you can get enrich yourself regularly. Thank you for watching.